Hello everybody. This is day one of my 40-day fast. Why am I doing this again? So the beginning of the year, it feels like an invitation really to cleanse not only the body but the spirit is quite important. So the last time I completed the 40-day fast, this was in 2025 in January. Last year I actually started on the first day of 2025. This time around, I was traveling with family, so I did not want to disrupt and interrupt that journey. My family had really been anticipating it for quite some time. So as soon as we arrived back home, settled in, I decided, you know what, I am starting today, the 5th of January, on the 40-day journey again. So what does fasting really do? It brings about some stillness. I found discipline and self-control to be the main thing that I really focus on. The idea that I can deprive myself of food for 40 days is quite incredible. So just for clarity, I'm doing a water fast, and what that really means, I will be taking electrolytes, basically minerals. I believe that when we consume food, your body really just extracts the necessary minerals from the body. And so in the form of electrolytes, I find that that really works. And I do take supplements. A lot of people are going to say, well, is that going to break your fast? This is not some type of contest for me. I do take my supplements. And in the past, when I've measured, be it my blood sugar level, it has always remained quite constant. It was never interrupted. So this is what a water fast means. It means only taking those essential vitamins. I will not be drinking juice and all of those type of things. Absolutely not. No consumption of food, soups or anything whatsoever. It is a water fast. It's quite stringent. But where I'm starting off, I normally do it in January because some of you may know December in South Africa is quite a thing. There's a lot of festivities going around, and that entails a lot of eating. And in South Africa, December, it is summer. It is the peak of summer, so they're just so much fun. There's abundance of everything that you can imagine. And I don't hold back myself because I do love to cook. It is just the one thing that I do love to do. Thank goodness we did travel, and during the travel there was a lot of walking that actually took place. So this evening, just before doing this recording, I obviously had to get onto the scale. I was just so afraid because some of my clothes, typically in December, they get a little bit tight. And yes, this time around, I thought I may have overdone the December thing. Actually, in South Africa, it is referred to as Dezember, substituting the C for the Z, so it's just fun. There was a bit of trepidation getting into the scale, but I did brave it and I got on top of the scale, and it was not as bad as I had anticipated. So my stable weight is 65 kilograms. So this time around, I really thought I went way overboard. I thought I went overboard. Yes, listen, gaining 5 kilograms, it is a little bit too much. So the scale said 70.5. To my relief, my body just feels like a 75 plus, and that would have been devastating. But I think with my intermittent fasting and just fasting lifestyle in general, I can always reverse whatever adverse effects any type of festivities would have caused. Look, I don't do it intentionally. The only time I tend to gain a bit of weight, it is December. You get invited out, and I do. Not that I consume bad food, processed and all of that type of stuff, but it is probably a little bit more just from a calorie intake that one would normally do. But you know what? Sometimes we are allowed to have fun. In December, it is probably the time of the year that I do relax a bit and don't stick too much to my regimen. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. And I just wanted to mention something actually quite fun. My grandmother used to love saying that people have a white heart. And when you say it in vernacular, it has more meaning, like unenhliziyo, emhlophe, or unalipelu etsu. So it is just that type of person full of contentment, and their their heart always yearns for more. And she would say that a lot about me also. But yeah, and what I actually believed that to be is that sometimes I know there's a lot of people that actually would agree with this. There's a certain number of people that believe, you know what, all I have to do is just look at food and I just gain weight. Sometimes I actually believe that. However, I am very much aware of what I consume and the repercussions and the impact that it may have on my body. So, a bit of backstory for people coming in a little bit late who are just not familiar to the fasting content that I do put up in January. In 2023, I embarked on a health journey. And what really sparked that health journey, it was the fact that my mother died quite early, quite young, at 57 from breast cancer. So it is something that, you know, when you hit your 50s, it kind of like preoccupies you. So I decided to take my health a little bit quite seriously. And at the time when I started, this was on the 15th of January in 2023, I was actually weighing like 95. And I started investigating various methods of losing weight quite intensely also, I should say. I did not want a fad. I did not want those quick, you know, getting thin quick type of scheme. What I was really looking for is a lifestyle. And I came across Dr. Eric Berg. I still follow him quite a bit because every single thing that he would have said on his podcasts, I would test on myself, like blood sugar monitoring, or a lot of people call it blood sugar balancing. And this means that when you consume something, if it wholesome food typically do not have an adverse effect on your blood sugar levels, so meaning that your glucose levels just spike up. So I became very aware of it. I actually went and bought myself these blood sugar testing, you know, contraptions at in health stores. You can buy it. It's in the South African context, the price about 250. So you would have to convert that into dollars, wherever it is, you know, that you be. In our context, it would be 250 divided by about 17. So it's quite cheap, and I would test it, and yes, indeed, there are a lot of foods that do have that negative impact on your, you know, glucose levels. So starch, in particular, sugar, obviously. But what was interesting, what I also come to understand, stress levels just as bad. So it's quite important that not only do you watch what you eat, but your environment is very important. As we are going into the new year, all of those toxic relationships, gotta get rid of them. So so I'm very mindful really of what I do consume. And then another example that I love to make is that of, as human beings, I just believe in feast and famine. I always imagine the caveman, what would they have done? You know, so there would be scarcity of food. You wake up in the morning, take a walk, go hunt, and others gather plants. They bring back the beast and everyone feasts. And they will feast and they will feast, and then until it really, really finishes, and then they rest. And this is what fasting is all about. I always make a silly example and I say that if we were meant to eat less more often, that really translates to grazing. And I think cows, that's what cows do. We're not cows. So look what cows look like because they graze all the time. I don't believe that we are meant to. We need to allow our body to rest. That is actually quite important. So I do believe in the intermittent fasting lifestyle, And essentially what that means is you need to designate an eating window in your day. So it could be that you don't eat for 8 hours, a specific continuous 8 hours in a day. No, I mean, you designate a specific period within which you consume food. And outside of that, including your sleeping period, that will be your fasting period. So I advocate for that. And the more you obviously reduce your eating window, the better the result. And I think what you consume is quite important. I also do not want to underestimate exercise. And the type of exercise I really encourage is that of walking. Walking is probably the best thing you can do to the body. If I was able to lose so much weight within a week of visiting, because all we did was just walk all the time, and it does definitely make a difference. Some people advocate for 10,000 steps, other people slightly lesser, but I just believe that walking is the most impactful. And I specifically reference 125 beats a minute. That is the pace that you really want to, that I advocate at least. And scientifically, some of the papers that have been published, they do reference that is probably the ideal pace for weight loss. So you walk and you have an eating window. You should not have a real excuse really to gain weight. But what is important, just know that eat nature's food, and it means non-packaged. Yes, you must cook your food, cook raw food. Cooking is an opportunity for you to decide what it is that you consume. So when you do eat and consume a lot of takeouts, you have no control. You really do not know what actually goes into those processed, particularly ultra processed foods. You're doing yourself a disservice. And because I also, in my previous life, I come from a cooking background also, people believe that in order to eat healthy, it must be bland food. It does not have to be bland food. Enjoy the food. Just learn how to cook well, using the right oils, olive oil, cold press. That is important. I have transitioned now to cold press macadamia. It is just as good. And I also believe that I think as females, we are bound to be somehow always controlled by our hormones. Our hormones really play a lot of games with females throughout the month. There's one of the other doctors that I follow, Dr. Mindy Pels, wrote a book called Fast Like a Girl. Indeed, throughout the month, there's a time when you just crave carbs. Oh my God. So I'm really hoping in this year I get out of that carb craving. So just to end the video, after my weight loss journey, I did publish a book, and it is called Revitalize, and it is available on amazon.com. You'll find the book there. So just to end my weight loss journey in 2023, I started on the 15th of January, and my target was to lose, to go to my BMI, that's the body mass index, which at the time was 68. I did, by April the 23rd, which is my birthday, I did reach 70, very close to reaching my BMI. And subsequent to that, about a month or so later, I did reach my ideal weight and stabilize at 65. So in totality, you're looking at about a loss of about 30 kilograms within that space of time. One thing I will let you know, being the ideal weight is the best thing. It's the best thing. No body aches. When you wake up in the morning, you wake up so revitalized. It is for that reason that I strongly really advocate intermittent fasting coupled with your ketogenic diet, because what I've learned is what energy sources our body utilizes, either glucose or fat. As much as possible, you want your body to utilize fat. That's when you are optimized for weight loss. But anyway, so that is the end of day one, starting at 70.5 kilograms, and we'll see you tomorrow.